Establishing weekly rituals, family walks, story nights, or weekend breakfasts. Stay curious about their world, whatever they're, if they're listening to music, friends, games, schools, taking interest in things that may not be interesting to you. And I know I had 3 sons, and I'm a girl, and I didn't know about any of the things that they're into. And I have learned over the years to watch different kinds of things. And right now my boys are into race cars. They set their alarms and they wake up at like 4 a.m. to watch some race cars happening. I have no idea in which part of the world, but the baseball games that they watched, even though I grew up with brothers, I never participated in any of that with my brothers. But then for my boys, like, I had to be relevant, right? So, and then there was always these conversations like, I hear a lot of parents say that, their kids don't want to go places with them, or they don't want to attend this family gathering, or they don't want to come somewhere. And the conversation needs to be that this is a reciprocal relationship. Like, we take interest in you and you take interest in me, even if it's boring. Like, you just do it. This is, I know the conversation comes up a lot when we have a guest, for example, or somebody comes from out of town, or it's our friends, or even my parents' friends, and we've invited them, and the kids don't know them at all. So I understand the awkwardness of that. Like, you've never met these relatives or these cousins or distance, and I'm like, you guys have to be there for, you guys have to greet them, we have to meet them. And I remember explaining this when they were little, like, how many things do we go for when there's a bunch of little kids in that room? And I even tell Somi right now, I tell my daughter Smile, I was like, you think I enjoy like 10 little girls at us little, we do it for you. There's a reciprocation of relationship. Like, I'm going to sit through something that is not 100% enjoyable for me, and that's okay. But then my expectation is that when my friends come over, I need you to come and sit for a few minutes and mingle. And this is hard for a lot of kids today. They're like, well, we don't know your friends. Who are they? Like, why do we need to come? And I hear this a lot from my friends, or even grandparents, like, why we have nothing in common. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you have this. This is how we teach kids how to relate. It's not always about enjoying it for yourself. And that's what society is promoting. All of the play dates, all of the activities, all the soccer practices, the art classes, we're going to go do this Play-Doh camp and the summer arts festival, and all of these little things is very child-centered right now. But what's the reciprocation? Okay, we're not going to isolate you from all these wonderful child activities, but there's a give and a take. In every relationship, there's reciprocation. Whether it's grandparents, aunts, uncles, whether you take a job, whether you go to the classroom, your teacher's doing this for you, what are you doing for your teacher? It's not a one-way stream. And I think in today's society, which is so child-centered, I think kids are becoming this mentality of like, it's all about me. And then they become teenagers and they're like, well, why are they so entitled? Why do they not want to, do this? Or like, that intergenerational of mixing was very healthy for our kids, My daughter asks me sometimes when we go to my parents' house, like, who's going to be there? This is the question always, like, who's going to be there? Am I going to have a playmate? And I tell her, like, yeah, sometimes your cousins are going to be there and sometimes they're not. But I'm also the daughter of these people, and I have left this household, and once in a while they want to see me. And that means that you are going to go with me. Like, you have to verbally explain things that used to be very natural. There was no explanation of why we all had to go and visit my parents' friends. It was very normal. Like, the parents' friends were coming in town, we went. There was no questions asked. But now kids are asking, why do we have to go see these people? I don't know them. We have nothing in common. There's all these questions because the shaping of the minds is very centered on you do you. You do what's happiness for you at the moment, and your happiness, your desire, your instant satisfaction is more important than the whole. But when we conceptualize families, the success of a family is a system. It's not just like Sumaya has to be happy, or Hamza has to be happy, or I have to be happy. No, we have to take turns in that, and we reciprocate this family model. And I think, if I were to give one piece of advice, that would be the thing that conceptually, if husbands think, our wives' exhaustion is going to contribute to the system, if wives think, our husband's overworking or exhaustion or not being supported in his career is going to affect the system, then the whole tit for tat disappears. I think the tit for tat mindset in this society is the tit for tat, like, okay, I gave you 2 hours, you need to give me 2 hours back. It doesn't work that way. We're all contributing to the health of the family and then the community and then the greater ummah. So I think if there was a conceptualized shift that we can make from this class, it would be that, sometimes we sacrifice, but it's not even a sacrifice, it's a give and take, and it gets equal somewhere. But the keeping of the track, I think, creates the divisiveness, because raising kids can't be tallied. Parenting can't be tallied. We're all giving 150% and it's still not enough, So I think when we get away from this model of, I did this, or I sacrificed this, or I didn't go to work, or I gave up my career, it's all giving up. And if you walk into raising children with the mindset that I'm giving up and I'm missing out and I'm left behind, then what are we passing on to our kids? The message is you're a burden. You're a burden on us because we have to give up so much of ourselves for you. And I think if you come from that mindset, that's where we have like anxiety, depression, all of these things kick in because we feel like in a deficit. We're already setting ourselves up for not a positive experience. And if we collaborate and there's community and resources and co-parenting and the co-ops that we create and places like the Majlis, then it's like, I'm doing for you, you're doing for me, but we're not keeping track because the goal is bigger than that. The goal is huge. We want to, raise the next generation to be confident and secure in their identities.